Today, Toastmaster Laura Bowman, a therapist in Maitland for over 50 years, will give a talk entitled, "Don't Let Your Muffler Drag," about 4 ways to mentally healthy keep from burning down their lives. Please welcome Toastmaster Laura Bowman.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I want to start with this beautiful anecdote that's in Liz Gilbert's book entitled Committed, where she talks about her early relationships. And she talks about this story in a local paper that she really relates to. And it's about this guy, and he's driving through a national forest. And unbeknownst to him, he's driving all day with his muffler dragging. So this is causing sparks to ignite the underbrush every few feet, and he's destroying thousands of acres of forest behind him. Other drivers are wildly trying to stop him and get his attention, but he's obliviously listening to music and doesn't even notice. So the police pull him over, and when he finally stops and gets out of the car, he looks around and he goes, "You don't mean that all this mess has something to do with me?" And I love that story because I think it's so relevant, not only to Liz Gilbert's chaotic love life, but it may just be relevant to a few of us who have ridden for miles or maybe even years, dragging our metaphorical mufflers, causing all sorts of unintended consequences. So today I want to give you 4 of the most adaptive skills that mentally healthy people use to make sure this is not your story. These are obvious in some ways. They are simple, but they are not easy. So the first skill is to really know yourself, to be a student of yourself. Mentally healthy people take the time to really observe themselves and get curious about their strengths and their liabilities. But here's the universal truth. We can all see aspects of other people that they cannot quite see. We know this. The one guy that always talks about himself but never asks you one single question. Or that friend who's always overgiving but constantly complaining about being taken advantage of. This is scary to realize and accept, but we all have something lurking in our blind spot. It might be the size of a moped or a Mack truck, but it's there. You might be seeing mine right now. Bravely asking the people who care about you the most for feedback on what those things might be is a way to really harness self-awareness. And believe me, when you ask, they will tell you, and the consensus among the answers will be wild. I've done this with my family. The second skill is being able to experience a full range of feelings, and this is why people come to therapy. A lot of people can't feel anything. They don't know what they're feeling. Mentally healthy folks can experience sadness, anger, empathy, envy, joy, gratitude, loneliness, maybe some of those feelings all in the same hour. Not avoiding any one feeling or becoming overly stuck in another. They also have a granular sense of what they're feeling. So many folks walk around with a vague sense of being annoyed. What are you feeling? I don't know, I'm just annoyed. Everything's so annoying. Annoying is doing a lot of work for a more nuanced set of feelings. If you go a level deeper, that person is probably overwhelmed, underappreciated, frustrated, disappointed, exhausted, insecure, overly self-sufficient. Probably not a feeling. When you can name your feelings, maybe even feel your feelings, you can communicate them. And that's when you have a shot of knowing what you need next. Support, a nap, an hour to yourself, a hug. It helps you and those around you understand you better when you can accurately name what you're feeling and allow yourself to feel. The third skill of mentally healthy people is the ability to think dialectically. Nobody in our culture is quite good at this these days. This means you can hold 2 seemingly opposing truths in your mind at the same time. They can really like the guy at work and hate his politics. They can really be disappointed in their child and still love them very much. They are able to see that people are never all good or all bad. Instead, they move fluidly between opposites, understanding that people and situations are complicated and can be viewed from multiple perspectives. They demonstrate what ACT founder Stephen Hayes terms psychological flexibility. Rigid people tend to become fractured in the storms of life, while the most flexible among us are able to adapt and update our plans. We radically accept what is, while committing to what can be, never forsaking one for the other. Finally, the fourth skill of mentally healthy people is that they know how to communicate vulnerably and honestly. It's a big word in our culture these days, vulnerably. People who are vulnerable and honest usually have the first three skills down, and they do their best to say things in a way that other people can hear them. If we use a football analogy, they're not always playing offense, where they're anxiously scrambling for yards and points, or always playing defense, where they're overprotective and guarded. Rather, they have mastered the art of punting. I say this all the time in therapy. Stop acting like it's 4th and goal, and if you prove your point with just one more piece of information, you're gonna somehow win the game. Just drop back and punt. Honest and vulnerable can sound like, I feel so helpless right now. I just want to connect with you and nothing I say feels like it's working. I'm lost. We all know the truth when we hear it. And we respond. Honest and vulnerable conversation with the right people will not weaken or reduce you, but it will keep you safe and strong. So I can't promise you that your life will be fire-free, but if you can get good at these 4 skills, knowing yourself, experiencing and allowing a full range of feelings, thinking flexibly and communicating honestly and vulnerably, I am pretty sure you won't burn down a whole forest. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.